Hello and welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice 2016 Counter-Strike B stream. My name, of course, is Selfish Guy, joined once again by PK Noodle. So, next game up is going to be Fnatic and the MongolZ. How are we feeling about this one?
Really excited at the prospect. I think probably more so for the experience and the opportunity to see these two teams match up. Maybe not necessarily for a tight, close affair. So we might cut straight to the action. I'm expecting great things. This is going to be a privilege having the opportunity to watch Fnatic. This is now live. You can see the MongolZ have actually won the pistol round here, I do believe. So as we move in, you can see that Fnatic have actually invested into this second round for sport. So trying to turn the table on the head and get back on winning ways.
Yeah, certainly not I guess, an unexpected strategy coming out here from Fnatic. They would want to sort of stamp their dominance as soon as they can on the top of the MongolZ. And you can already see Dennis has managed to find one kill. Flusher almost getting NCL there, but NCL does come out ahead. And now you can see the MongolZ starting to make their way onto the A-bomb site, but this is a little bit of a fake because the B's over on, the bomb rather is over on B. Crims has managed to find a kill onto Menace though, so things going a little bit pear-shaped here for the MongolZ.
Well, I think they're up against some extraordinary talent at the moment. Both JW and Dennis at the moment posted up in the sites, and I think Crims is just nearby as well. So as Dennis finds one, that is the bomb that's been dropped now. And for the inexperienced MongolZ, who perhaps have been struggling a little bit to find their footing so far in the competition, they now have their hopes resting on their captain and star player Machine Gun. He has it all to do in a 1 versus 3. Actually moves through the vents and does get the drop there onto JW, but good reactions there from the rejuvenated Orba, who's found his life again, his mojo in this Fnatic team, who have actually won the last 5 tournaments in a row, most recently at ESL Barcelona, but they're definitely the favourites for this competition. They're the #1 ranked team in the world. They're in incredible form at the moment, and I think that perhaps MongolZ might have a tough match on their hands, it's fair to say.
Yeah, I mean, this is certainly, I guess, the very epitome of the David and Goliath battle that could come out from this competition. It's the best team in the world up against what you would have to say is probably one of the lower ranked teams in the competition. So the MongolZ here do have a very steep task ahead of themselves.
What we have seen though is that they actually are quite strong on cage. They had some success at the qualifier at the IEM Taipei Asia Minor Championship. They beat Chiefs and Renegades on this map. So the Australian teams, they were feasted upon, and Sudo at the moment doing a fantastic job of using that Diggle. It's great prowess, and Effect has found 2 frags for himself, but both Crims and Dennis responding with great effect of their own. They get a man advantage. They now lead 3-2 in this sort of situation. Machine Gun trying to respond appropriately. Yeah,
Machine Gun goes down there as well. And I mean, that sort of almost looked okay there for the MongolZ, but immediately Fnatic coming back and responding well. So good to see, at least on the Fnatic side of things there. But MongolZ, again, I guess going back to that pistol round, they've won a fair amount of pistol rounds, but they haven't been able to close out the anti-eco. So that's been a big problem for them throughout the day today.
It's definitely been a talking point for them. We'll just see how well Sodu can do in this instance, because perhaps feeling it this round, has found 2 kills and has an M4 in his hands. Can he get the 30? Can't in the end. He does go down, but you're right. MongolZ, I think they've lost all 3 matches that they've played together, but I think that's not anything to hold against them. I think they've actually had a fantastic and impressive outing in what is their first competition against European and American teams. They obviously come into this as the underdogs, but what we've noted in their previous matches so far in this competition is that they've actually been inflicting a lot of damage and actually been able to go toe-to-toe with some of these star European players in the aim department. It's perhaps been in their late round decision-making that's let them down a little bit, but that's something that comes with experience. So a lot of promise and positive signs coming out from this Mongolian team that gave it all, leaving the CS Dream, moved to Vietnam to have their best chance of success, and so happy to see them now on the world stage.
Yeah, certainly is a great experience for them, despite not having the best results. It's going to be a lot of learning coming from this opportunity. Obviously, they're going to be on an eco here, the MongolZ, so really not much of an opening in this round for them, but they are sort of stacking in towards the A-bomb side at the moment, trying to see if they can get anything done there, but Fnatic have a reasonably good read here. They've got 3 on that bomb site. Crims and JW will find a frag apiece, then Crims picking up a double kill in response, or actually a triple kill if you count in that first frag for himself. So a very good round for him personally, as we are going to see the final frag going to Olaf Meister.
I know we've just had an epic nail-biter between NIP and Na'Vi, and what we saw there was a very slow-paced, methodical game style. I can guarantee you this is not what we're going to see in this match. It'll be very fast. Fnatic themselves play a very fast and loose style. The MongolZ themselves rely heavily on their aim styles, such as Machine Gun and Zilkenberg. They're very aggressive. They like to get in the faces and back themselves to win those duels. So this is very much an up-tempo game. Already 4 rounds have gone by in the blink of an eye. And as we move on to our next gun round now, you can see Crims actually opting to keep that scout in hand. But the rest of his team have rifles, and they'll be looking to put the hurt on this Mongolian team and really limit their map territory early.
JW very aggressively forward in towards mid there, and the boost coming out here from the MongolZ, so they will need to be careful that JW doesn't spot them out there, because that could spell a little bit of trouble. JW, on the other hand, also needs to be a little bit careful because he's in a relatively dangerous position, but it is JW to come out, I guess, ahead there in that situation, trading out one, actually finding a second kill for himself there onto Machine Gun as well. So really great position and a great play from JW down in mid there.
Fantastic word, really turning the tide in his team's favour, and he's still hungry for more as well. I mean, we said that he had been in a little bit of a slump, but he's certainly found his own recently. Some phenomenal performances of late. He has got his third for the round. We'll now back off. He's done more than enough for his team in this round. It's all left up to Sodu from the terrorist side. Sodu, of course, also sometimes finding it a little bit difficult to maintain that consistency. We saw during the qualifier that had a quiet run up until the grand final when he went absolutely ballistic during the grand final. So I know that his team will certainly be looking for him to step up on this occasion, but against Fnatic, it's a tough ask. One of the things that Fnatic have really made their own, something that's transitioned across from the old roster to the new roster, obviously with Dennis joining the fray in the, I guess, place of Pronax, has been the fact that Fnatic, over the course of a competition, are often seen to be going from strength to strength. We've already seen them lose one map today against Luminosity, but really that's not to hold against them, because we've seen that they like to build up as the competition progresses. So that might be a worrying sign now for Machine Gun, with Fnatic having already tasted defeat. Fnatic will be out, looking to go for that early, I guess, kill and look to put the pressure on MongolZ.
Yeah, they certainly are putting the pressure on at the moment. 4-1 the scoreline already, which is not necessarily the worst scoreline for the MongolZ, but the rounds that the Fnatic have been winning have been quite, I guess, considerable victories. You can see the MongolZ picking up a couple of kills here, but as they enter in towards that A-bomb site, they're not having much luck. Oh, nice shot coming out from Sogu there. But is it going to be enough? Flusher in a 1 versus 2 situation, but both these players are one-shot with that scout that the Flusher has managed to pick up. The grenade doing a little bit of damage there to Sogu, but not quite enough. And the bomb not yet retrieved here from Sogu, so he's just trying to play a bit of a ring around the rosy with Flusher at the moment, trying to catch him out. But Flusher, all the way back in Warehouse, he's going to be safe.
Well, that's right, and actually, curiously for me, the bomb has been left in the A site, so a little bit surprised by this move by Sodu here. You can see, obviously, Flusher has changed up his position. Really smart player. One of his biggest attributes is he often comes up huge in major events, the second best rated player in 2015 in major tournaments, so can definitely perform under pressure, and I think this 1v1 will certainly suit him quite well. He's spotted out the bomb now, so he's quite comfortable. He knows that Sodu must return to the A side, and on his way back, Flusher picks him out there on the catwalk. Very, very calm and collected work by Flusher. Great clutch in that instance. 5v1, the train keeps on rolling here for the Swedish Giants.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is sort of the situation that we saw up against NIP for the MongolZ. They get into those sort of clutch round situations where they have the opportunity to close something out, and it didn't really work out in that situation. It hasn't worked out too well against NIP either, so something for the MongolZ to work on. They are going to have a full buy coming into this round as well, so they'll have the utilities and the weapons that they need to make an impact. But it's going to be down to whether or not they can execute that strat as well as they need to up against the powerhouse that is Fnatic.
Yeah, it looks as though they've actually got a set A execute here, because they've actually just lobbed the smokes over the wall into the A side, and at least the majority of the players are now committing onto A. Silkenberg actually on the lurk in mid does a great job of, I guess, turning it into the entry frame, but as Crims converts with a double, Dennis with one. Crims looking for his third, one of the hardest players to kill in the world, quite literally. You can see he's done a fantastic job. Silkenberg now faced with the prospect of going 1 versus 3, but Dennis brings out his inner monster and does drop him with a brutal headshot. 6-1, Fnatic rolling on their CT side.
Yeah, the MongolZ had everything that they needed in that round. They had the entry frag, they had mid control, and they had a bit of a split coming onto the A-bomb site, but they weren't able to make it, and that double kill from Crims really just shut everything down from the MongolZ. You could tell as soon as that double kill came out, everything slowed down, and the round really just went a little bit pear-shaped for the MongolZ after that. So a little bit disappointing for them, but at least some good signs for the MongolZ.
They can afford to buy this round, I think, off the back of having lost so many rounds in a row. They've now got that danked bank with that losers bonus coming into full effect. So Dennis here going quite aggressive, perhaps expecting that the buy has come out. I think some of the firing that's come out from the terrorist AKs will probably give away that fact by now, and perhaps backing off, opting to play the safer game as that smoke starts to dissipate. NCL there in A main, not capitalising off the fact that perhaps Dennis was momentarily in his crosshairs, obviously through a smoke. Not as easy to spot them out.
No, certainly not. It does make things a little bit more difficult. JW, though, will spot out Zilkenberg and takes him out with ease. JW down to 43 HP, but I don't think he'll be too troubled by that at all.
Yeah, going for the boost here, so I think off the back of losing one man, they did have success getting Zilkenberg up in the previous round and perhaps trying to emulate that somewhat, but at the moment, looks as though Mongols just getting caught off guard a little bit. That has been their downfall in the past up against aggressive teams where sometimes their terrorist play can seem to get suffocated a little bit, where they lose map control and seemingly don't have many options in late round situations, and it's looking to be the case now as Menace finds himself in a 1 versus 4. Only has 7 points of health as well, so perhaps even thoughts of trying to save that rifle might be going through his brain right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, they don't know where he is, but surely they're bound to check Squeaky eventually. How long he's going to be able to survive is the real question.
Yeah, you can see the spam coming at the moment. Menace actually quite boldly opening the door, but Crims puts an end to that in quite dramatic fashion with the USP frag through the door, onto his head nonetheless. 7-1 the score currently stands, but I want to make sure, as we see MongolZ here now, on what looks to be a force buy, or at least an eco somewhat to try and bolster their economy. I want to make sure that we're framing this match appropriately for the viewers here. I don't think either of us realistically expect that MongolZ would be able to win this match.
No.
I think for them, they already know, having lost 3 matches, that MongolZ are now out of this competition. So for them, I think perhaps some pressure has now come off. This is now an opportunity for these players who take so much pride in, I guess, their passion that they have for their game and what they're doing for their scene. Let's not forget, Asian teams, this is quite different to see them now competing on the world stage. So I think for them, maybe with that pressure gone, they might just be able to free them up a little bit and just try and play some good Counter-Strike and make some nice headshots. I think that they will be a little bit, I guess, on tune with the fact that this will be a hard match for them. They have done a good job, though, of getting the opening couple of frags again. Soju, he's been the man to watch so far this match for his team. They should hit the bomb down as well, so 4-on-3 retake coming in for Fnatic.
Yeah, he's got the AK for himself as well, so opportunities abound here for the Mongols, but it's all going pear-shaped once again as Fnatic bring back a few frags for themselves. Back to a 2 versus 2 situation. Zilkenberg responds, though, onto Flasher, and now a 2 versus 1. Olofmeister, though, the survivor here for Fnatic, and he is such a fantastic player. That was an easy kill onto Zilkenberg, but really nice positioning coming out from Olofmeister, and allows himself to find the 1 versus 1s in the 2v1 situation, and really another clutch round going in the favour of Fnatic.
Yeah, it's probably quite fitting, to be honest, that the best player in the world in the form of Olofmeister actually just touched what was a sick 1v2. That last headshot was absolutely sumptuous. Love seeing that headshot come out, but the most complete player in the game, by all accounts. He can do it all. He can pistol frag, he can rifle, he can AWP, he can get entry frags, he can clutch, and he is enjoying what is the matchup at the moment. It's almost a race to get the frags. Fnatic looking really strong. You can see at the moment they're using the utility actually really wisely to block off those choke points and making it quite difficult for MongolZ to have that aggression in their terror side play, something that they've made their own. And as a result, when it gets to sort of that mid to late round situation, Fnatic have the odds in their favour.
They certainly do, but the Mongols once again going to be getting the entry frag there, that time courtesy of Machine Gun onto Olofmeister, who was so pivotal in the previous round for Fnatic. So an important frag for the Mongols to start us off, but again, they're going to need to make good use of it. Dennis is going to drop the bomb, though. This is going to be an important frag here. Fnatic, you can already see the rotators starting to come across. And the Molotov down there is going to slow things down for the Mongols as well. So retrieving this bomb is going to be incredibly difficult here now for the Mongols. Dennis, he's going to get taken out, though, in a 1 versus 1 between him and Sogu. But the trade comes out from Crims. Bring things back to even. Crim's going to find himself a double kill as well there. Now the Mongols in a 2 versus 3 situation. I don't even think this is really the situation where they want to try and recover that bomb. It looks like they're probably opting for a save here. Zilkenberg, though, as I say that, decides to peek in towards A main. He's going to get taken down by Crims.
You're right, in the sense that probably in a normal sort of situation between 2 evenly matched teams, that would probably warrant a save from the terrorist team. But really, the Mongols have nothing to lose in this instance. They're playing for pride. I don't critique them at all for actually going and making an effort to try and pull off some sort of magic. We know how sharp these players are. I mean, Machine Gun in particular. I mean, he absolutely stole the spotlight at the IEM Taipei qualifiers. Finished the event with a 1.37 rating and was epically sharp. People were comparing his aim style to something they've never seen before. He was just locking onto heads. It was an absolute pleasure to watch, to be honest. So I'm glad to see these guys trying to back themselves and go for these clutches. It hasn't worked out in this instance. Time will run out. It will be 9-1, despite that frag coming in from Menace at the very last second there. Still 2 members of Fnatic that he needed to deal with, but didn't have the opportunity to do so. Having said that, he's actually just got the job done onto JW. But nonetheless, Fnatic looking really strong at the moment. Crims in particular, leading the scoreboard, but I think Fnatic can cruise control, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly seems that way, and that's kind of what you would expect in this sort of a matchup. Fnatic obviously probably don't need to put in 100% to be able to close this one out, but certainly can't get complacent. The Mongols, of course, can really, I guess, surprise teams with their superior aim in some sort of senses, so certainly not going to roll over just yet, are the Mongols, especially considering they keep getting all these entry frags, so it's not necessarily a horrible situation for the Mongols.
That's right. I mean, that's normally a key facet of their game. They normally pride themselves on their ability to get entry frags and then normally try and overwhelm sites by force later on as the time ticks down. But at the moment, for me, I just Fnatic is just too skilled. I think that even despite some instances losing the entry frag duels, they're still able to overpower Mongols later on in the round. see at the moment JW posted up in mid, but he will now reposition himself. But despite the pressure that MongolZ are applying, even in this instance, in what was a 5-on-3 situation across all the different choke points in the map, Fnatic just looked in complete control. You can see it will be, in this instance, Machine Gun getting the drop onto JW, but Dennis quickly takes down his teammate. So Fnatic doing a good job here. They've turned it into a 1-on-2. Crims, the master clutcher, the epic support player, needs to do it. And quite interesting, he's got an AWP in hand.
Yeah, another 1 versus 2 here for the MongolZ to negotiate. As you say, the AWP in the hand of Crims is a little bit interesting. I'd say he's probably just going to try and see if he can find one pick here, and if not, then sort of change up his game plan. But at the moment, making his way up highway, still holding onto that AWP, and it is going to be Sogu to close it out there. So another round on the board for the MongolZ. Finally able to win one of those clutch situations.
Sogu is going absolutely ballistic at the moment. We actually see the scoreboard. He's got 16 frags. I know often in a previous cast so far today, we actually alluded to the fact that we normally like to give a lot of credit and I guess acknowledge the contributions of all different members of the team when they're all firing all cylinders. But at the moment, it is a one-man show. Sogu is doing a fantastic job of trying to carry his team tooth and nail to victory here, at least to a few round victories. At the moment, though, his teammate's not able to provide that support he does need, and it's all to no avail as Fnatic currently lead 9-2. They did lose the last round, so I think MongolZ trying to exert their presence here and try and potentially inflict some damage to the economy of Fnatic, but Olafmeister not having a piece of that. He gets the first frag onto NCO and looks to double up there, but decides ultimately to fall back to safety.
A really scary situation coming out now for the MongolZ. Obviously, losing that first frag isn't going to put them in the greatest stead for the rest of this round, and if they aren't able to close out this round, then the economy reset is going to come across for them. And then you're looking at a really sort of a monster half coming out here for Fnatic. So that's something that the MongolZ definitely want to avoid.
Yeah, I mean, even the individual play there's really smart game mechanics coming in. Even Machine Gun, you saw him actually falling off the boost in that instance, using his fire to cover his footsteps. And I think it worked to the extent that Dennis wasn't expecting that. And he's now rewarded for that smart play, catching him off guard as he looks up highway. So as they merge now onto this A side, come in from all different choke points. There's a lot of pressure on Crims. He does find the first, but has more to contend with. Can he get the second? He does, and pulls out the pistol, trying to find an opportunity to reload that gun. Sees the smoke as an opportunity to do that, but ultimately goes down with that, I guess, gap in the smoke, proving to be his downfall. Sogu now finds himself in a 1 versus 1. He's done a lot of damage here. Flusher only on 19 points of health, and he's been the man, Sogu, so far for his team. He's found 20 frags. As it is, he will now reposition himself. Needs to go 1 versus 1, but Flusher gets the drop. The experience coming in there. Great work, catch him off guard from that elevated position. Sogu unable, despite his best attempts, to pull his team through in that round. Fnatic pull ahead 10-2, and I think his tactical pause has come in. Maybe a little bit too little too late here, though, I think.
No, I mean, we're only in the first half here, so the MongolZ obviously have got a whole other half to contend with.
At least some parts of a second half.
Yeah. No, looking like a technical pause, actually. But
okay.
Having a look across the MongolZ economy, it's not looking too fantastic at all. So this round is probably going to be a write-off. And they might be able to really build something in the round after that.
I want to make a mention whilst we got the opportunity. NCO has just rejoined quickly. I mean, Fnatic often get the spotlight. They're at so many events. Like we said, they've won the last 5 events. MongolZ, not so. This is their first international event. I want people to understand the story of these guys because it's fantastic for the game. This is a team that actually only had their roster formed in November of last year. So it's only been 3 months, but they moved out of their homeland from Mongolia to Vietnam to a more centralized position in Asia so that they could get better practice and have better opportunities. When they actually qualified for this event, they weren't actually the favorites in the Asian qualifier. They upset teams. In their previous land event at the Fulcrum Gamers League, they'd come 4th. So by winning the IEM Taipei qualifier, it was an upset and a landmark victory for this team. And to see them now going from strength to strength and having these opportunities, it's fantastic for the global scene. It
is certainly good. And I mean, I guess it's bringing a lot of exposure to the Asian region, but we'll hold off on that as we can see the MongolZ starting to push their way in towards the B bomb site. It's not working out too well for them, though, as you can see the stoic defense coming out from Fnatic, not losing a single player and really not taking a whole lot of damage in the process either. So a pretty stock standard round for Fnatic there, you'd have to say.
Yeah, like we said, I think it's pretty much cruise control here on out. I think Fnatic leading 11-2. You only have to look at the roster to tell that this was always going to be quite one-sided, unfortunately, for them. They've got the best player in the world in the form of Olafmeister. They've got Crims, they've got Flusher, they've got Dennis, who's recently shown that rise in form in 2016 that perhaps had eluded him early on when he just joined Fnatic towards the end of last year. So all 5 members firing on all cylinders at the moment. Even JW's finding form, and having said that, he does connect with 1, gets the second as well. So Case proves to be his map of late, doing a fantastic job with that AWP. Looking for his 3rd. If he doesn't get it, someone else will, but he does eventually claim it as his own. Can't quite connect on the 4th, but that carpet bombing effort in mid should do the job, but somehow it doesn't. He's on 1 HP. That is criminal. I don't know how NCL did not die in that instance. Fnatic, though, looking the goods. showing why they can be so dangerous to lower ranked teams, because I guess whilst we see sometimes they do play close matches against top tier teams, Fnatic, probably more so than any of the other top tier teams, have this ability to go into plow mode.
Yeah.
I know that's normally associated with Virtus Pro, not so much recently,
No.
but Fnatic themselves, they can really shut out opposition who aren't on their same level, and we're seeing that in effect right now.
Yeah, so last round of the first half here. Obviously the Mongols just scraping together what they can, and that sort of ends up being a few Deagles and a couple of Tech 9s, which is really not the weapons that the Mongols would have wanted. But we'll see what they can make use of. A lot of damage going across to Dennis there, and he actually goes down. olofmeister in the meanwhile did pick up a kill onto Machine Gun in mid. Crims is going to take out Sogu, so things not looking too great here for the Mongols. But still, 3 players alive to make something, and they have managed to retrieve a rifle as well.
I hope for their sake. I mean, I'd certainly love to see this match get extended another round. I'd love to see MongolZ get some confidence and some experience and come back and taking rounds off the best team in the world, but at least for this round, it's not to be. Fnatic closed out in style with an AUG nonetheless. Whose AUG is this? It's not Rambo's, it is Crims's, but 13-2, a really convincing half, and to think that actually MongolZ won the pistol round, the fact that Fnatic go on to win 13-2 in the half is really quite remarkable.
It certainly is, and I think that's mostly off the back of Crims there. You can see 24-6. His scoreline. He's come up so huge in those sort of situations where the Mongols had found themselves in an advantage, and then Crims all of a sudden picks up a double or a triple kill from somewhere and brings it back in the favor of Fnatic.
The best thing about Crims, I mean, he's often viewed as or termed a support player, but he's so much more than that. He was literally the hardest player in 2015 to kill, had the fewest deaths per round on average in the stats, but also his pairing with olofmeister is unbelievable.
Yeah.
They have this insane chemistry between them, so if one of them's not firing, the other one certainly is, and it's always a pleasure to watch. You can see them up here. Fnatic busting out of mid, bringing that aggression to the Mongolian team, and they've got that first frag there onto Machine Gun.
Yeah, Flusher as well is going to find the second frag onto NCL, and Sogu as well going down by the forklift. Fnatic really just rolling over this pistol round at the moment, and the Mongols not putting up much of a fight at all.
No, only left Ennis in this instance. The long-range USP proving to be victorious in that instance, but with the bomb planted, his hopes of winning this round are slim to none. I think he recognises that as the objective potentially at the moment is actually just trying to get those frags, bolster up his economy, maybe even save that armor, which he did have, but not to be in the end. Crims, the, I guess, menace, definitely the intended pun in that instance.
Yeah.
From the first half, doing a good job of getting that frag there and closing out that pistol round. 14-2, Fnatic looking comfortable.
So the expected force up here from the Mongols, obviously 14 on the board for Fnatic. They can't afford to let another round slip by if they want to make this into a victory, which is, however unlikely, still an opportunity for the Mongols. We'll see what they can do with these Deagles. At the moment, it's not really going to be a whole lot as JW jumps in there, picks up a double kill on the entry. That's not going to make things easy at all. Sogu does respond onto olofmeister, but JW finding himself a third. Dennis as well will be able to pick up Sogu, so this is looking like all she wrote for the Mongols. Still, at least one round left for them in IEM Katowice 2016.
Yeah, I think they've got another match after this, but I just want to make it clear as well that this performance at the moment, seeing them lose 15-2 now, obviously up against match points, many of them, this isn't a detriment to MongolZ. It's not saying anything poorly of them.
No.
They've done so well to get to this point of view. They are up against the best team in the world at the moment. It's no surprise, I think, when they're up against so much talent and a team that prides itself on winning those individual aim duels and having, I guess, the skill to back it up. They're on the losing end at the moment, so they should be proud of the fact that they're here and they're even versing this competition. So it's fantastic to watch, and Flusher maybe trying to extend the match a little bit for our sake as viewers, because he actually nades olofmeister there.
Yeah.
I mean, we spoke about the synergy between Crims and olofmeister, not so much Flusher and olofmeister.
Yeah, well, usually it's Dennis actually grenading his teammates, but in this instance, Flusher, he does go down as well, so Sogu punishing perhaps for the mistake. And we could be seeing another round coming out here. The Mongols looking pretty sweet in this one. 4-2, the players in favor of the Mongols. Make that 4-1, as now it's down to Dennis. He's lurking on towards the B bomb site, just making his way slowly towards this smoke. There is only one player for the Mongols actually on that side at the moment. So if he can take that kill and perhaps get the bomb down and make it into a 1 versus 3, he might have an opportunity. He's going to actually go down there. Zilkenberg closing out that frag. So 3 rounds on the board here for the Mongols, still hanging on by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, at least for one more round. I'm glad to see that they get a round on the board in the second half. You can see, though, Fnatic obviously can easily afford to buy into this round. A pause coming out. Unfortunately, it looks as though there's perhaps a technical issue there, but that should shortly get fixed up. But you can see at the moment, you look at the scoreboard, Crims with 25 frags, Olive, JW, Dennis and Flusher all supporting as well. I think at the moment, perhaps the fact that Crims is on top is more so a reflection that MongolZ have headed more in his direction, more so than a fact that he's gone absolute beast mode. But look at that headline there as Sodu, 23 frags.
Yeah, really carrying the torch for his team.
What concerns me though, if we can have another look at that scoreboard, how many stars does he have? I don't think he's been justly rewarded. I think he's only got 2 stars. Lord Gaben there, not very, I guess, appreciative or recognising the strong effort.
It's a bit hard to get stars when you're not getting rounds.
I think getting 23 frags against Fnatic when your team has 3 rounds is an achievement worthy more than of 2 stars.
Well,
that is the greatest injustice that I've seen so far today.
47 points on the board. The next highest on his team, 17. I guess that really tells the story of how this match has been going for the MongolZ.
It's funny, isn't it? Because we said that Sodu was the player that really stepped up under pressure when he was in the grand final of this qualifier. Obviously, Machine Gun and Zilkenberg were performing consistently throughout the competition, but it was Sodu who really stepped up in the clutch for his team and showing that really he can compete with the best teams when the pressure is on.
Doing a great job for his team at the moment, despite the scoreline. You can see the Fnatic moving very quickly towards the A side. They're looking to, I think, in this match with some sort of pace because they're heading very quickly towards A. Olive, they're actually leading with the Tech 9, but it's MongolZ actually find a couple of frags. Potentially you might be looking at what could be a close round here, a 2-on-2 up, folks. Yeah, certainly is going to be a close round here, but the bomb should go down pretty safely here, for Fnatic rather. You can see JW just checking in towards Highway. He's going to spot out one of those players, picks up Zilkenberg as well, and now it's down to NCL. He does manage to pick up JW, but now it's down to Crims and NCL. Obviously Crims should be the favoured player in this instance. He's got the time working in his favour, but it is NCL jumping up onto the red crate to pick that one up. So the round goes in the favour of the MongolZ and the match continues.
And I have no doubt as well that that would irritate Crims to no end, given the fact that he lost that clutch. Like we said, he was the most successful clutch player in 2015, and perhaps given the fact that Fnatic are on the verge here of getting a comfortable victory, they just want this match to be over and done with. But MongolZ, to their credit, they're not giving up just yet. They're fighting back into this match, and NCL with a nice, I think, double frag there, actually boosting his economy, or boosting his frag count from 1 to 3. So nice to see him getting some frags on the board as well. Fnatic buying into this round. I'm not surprised to see them actually investing everything that they can. It will mean that 3 of them have to go with just pistols, but they'll be backing themselves in their ability.
Whoa.
Dennis there, find the head of NCL. So Dennis the Menace, doing a good job.
Dennis the Monster in this case, at least according to his name, he's going to find that first frag of the round here. Now the MongolZ going to have to deal with a 4 versus 5 situation. Making it a 3 versus 5 is Flusher, who picks up Machine Gun, and there's Crims to find Zilkenberg as well. There is a trade back in response there for the MongolZ. It's only Menace to find Olofmeister though. That's not going to be enough. JW picking up the final kill of the match there, and 16-4 the result in the favour of Fnatic up against the MongolZ.
Yeah, really comfortable victory. But I think, like we said, I think that Fnatic gets so much credit. They're the best team in the world, undoubtedly. They're coming into this competition having won all 5 of the tournaments that they've actually entered with Dennis in the roster now. So undoubtedly the competition favourites. They're expected to easily win this match, not just on paper, but I think also in terms of the matchup, the map, those sorts of facets of the game. But I think you have to give credit to MongolZ for what they've achieved, not just in terms of that match, which was 4 or 5 rounds, but I think in the entirety of actually being in this competition. This is a team, to put in perspective, a nice stat that I actually saw come into this competition was that before this competition and their qualifiers, the most prize money that they had won as individuals was actually $500 from competitions. $500. By qualifying for this tournament, they actually won $6,000 each in the qualifier.
Yep.
That was a landmark victory for this team. It just goes to show that these are teams that they're playing now that make a living off this game. Their salaries, their full-time jobs, their lives are dedicated to Counter-Strike, whereas they're up against a team with MongolZ who are, I guess, breaking more than $500 for the first times in their careers. So it's a wonderful story. I really hope we get to see more of these guys play, not just in this competition, because they have 1 match left, I do believe, but also, I guess, in the global stage and the international scene for more to come. This was their first opportunity playing against American and European teams, and I certainly hope it's not the last.
Yeah, I mean, it is such a developing region. It's the sort of the similar to the Australian region that we're obviously hailing from, and you know,
they wrecked the Australian team.
Yeah, they did. They did, unfortunately for us. But we're digressing a little bit. Obviously, the Asian scene is something that isn't really explored a whole lot in Counter-Strike. You know, the likes of China and Korea, really, we don't see a whole lot from. And obviously, if we start to see those teams or those regions starting to come into Counter-Strike, that could really shake things up and be a bit of an exciting time in the Counter-Strike scene.
Most certainly. I think from a Fnatic perspective, when you look back to that game, there's probably honestly not much you can take away. I mean, they won quite comfortably. They were expected to. To me, it was just business as usual, would probably be the best phrase that I could use to describe it. I think that probably when they look back at that match, they got the job done, but that was what they were expected to do. We know that Fnatic are a team that build up as the competition progresses, so I expect that that's just another stride in their book, and really I think they'll be looking quite menacing and ominous as they move towards the latter stages of this competition. Obviously, IEM Katowice has held over 4 days of play, and I know Fnatic definitely had their eyes on that final day, which will be the grand final on the main stage of the Spodek Arena here in Poland. So it's been a fantastic opportunity to cast these guys, both the Swedish Giants and also the Mongolian underdogs. But in the end, I think the victor was almost predetermined from the beginning.
Yeah, it certainly was. And obviously, before we ramble on a little bit too much longer, we should, of course, give a shout out to our sponsors who have been supporting us throughout this event. Obviously, Intel, the big name sponsor of the Intel Extreme Masters, wouldn't be possible without them. But of course, also Zowie, HyperX, Gigabyte, and G2A helping us out there. And a special mention as well to Plays.tv. Obviously, you guys can check out that sort of a highlight application. You guys can check that out on the Google Store and on plays.tv/Chrome and try and, I guess, make your own highlight clips, share that on social media and all that sort of fun stuff. And of course, also shout out to the Score Esports who are providing fantastic coverage of the IEM Katowice, and of course also plenty of other tournaments and all, not necessarily Counter-Strike, but other games and all that sort of stuff. And of course, finally rounding us out, if you guys would like to head over to g2a.com/IEM_season_10, you can try and win yourself a G2A gift card, which would be fantastic. Get a bit of money in the bank.
Yeah, most certainly.
Alrighty, so that is probably just going to be about it for us here on the stream. There is, of course, another game coming up after this, so you should stay tuned.
A cracker. I think it is Luminosity vs NIP, and that will be a blockbuster that you don't want to miss. And I'm personally looking forward to it. I won't be casting, but it's going to be a fantastic match, so stay tuned.